Hello and welcome to the sideboard here at the StarCityGames.com Open Series in Las Vegas. I am Nick Miller alongside Bobby Birmingham. How are you doing?
Great, how are you?
Pretty good. You're playing mono white aggro or white weenie, whatever you want to call it.
Yes.
X and 2, unfortunately just lost on camera to the boss slide deck, which you brought this to combat.
Yes, I did.
Pretty rough draw, game 3.
Yeah,
so
wasn't spectacular, that's for sure.
Results not always the factor. So talk about this deck and why you brought it this week and its good matchups, and then I'll talk about a couple of the specific cards once you go over your choice, because you have the 16 1-drops with Judge's Familiar, Dryad, the Boros Elite, and the Soldier of the Pantheon.
Yeah. So I brought this mainly to battle other aggro decks because I can control, I can sit back and just they can attack me all they want. They can attack me and my guys can size up because mine are either 1-drops or 2-1s. And I have the Brave the Elements, so if we get into a stall where they have a bunch of guys, I've got a bunch of guys, they can swing into me, they think they're going to get lethal, I can Brave, clear their board, and I can go back for the swing back. That's where the 1-drops come in. They're great for chumping. Judge's Familiar is one of my favorites because early on, they can't do removal spells against some of my other guys. I mean, he hits in the air, which is actually pretty phenomenal.
Yeah.
So.
Game 1 against the boss Sly, you had the Brave and just pretty much saved yourself because you had double Maka with just all kinds of tricks, and you just saved your entire board. Was able to move on. Now the interesting part here is you have 4 Azorius Arresters.
Yes.
Where some people have kind of skimped on that number compared to only the 2 Imposing Sovereign. Talk about how you like all 4. I know Patrick Sullivan, Ben Lundquist are in the camp of wanting more of the Arresters.
I like this guy because there's cards like, it's almost a Time Walk, they only have 1 creature out. They play a dude, they're like, okay, Desecration Demon, for instance, is my favorite, I think. They'll play him, and then I can just arrestor it, swing right in, don't have to lose the guy. And then the next turn, hopefully I can lead with a Banisher Priest, or then I can start I can lose some of my smaller guys, and I'll have enough damage in that they weren't expecting to get. And that gives me a better board position. I mean, he's been the all-star because they'll have a guy that I can't deal with, and I just need a turn, I won't have enough creatures, and he'll let me get through. Precinct Captain, who I wish I had more of now. Yeah. In hindsight, I should have run all 4 like I was originally planning to, but I didn't. He would have been phenomenal with the Azorius Arresters.
Arrestor just blanking Boros Reckoners, Pelucranoses, things they tap out for on turns 3, 4, and 5. You got a couple Keening, or the one at Keening Apparition, which is great in this format with just all the enchantment dudes.
Yeah.
Now the interesting part is you've got your 3 of Anthem effects. You've got the Heroes, Hall of Triumph. That card, legendary as well, with Spear, which is legendary.
Yes.
Path of Bravery, this is the fun one.
Yeah. So Path of Bravery, what will happen is, especially with that boss slide deck, what will happen is I'll start losing a lot of life, and they can blow me out super quick. If I have Path of Bravery, I can attack in with some of the Judge Familiars, maybe the Precinct Captains, and the Boros Elites, because they were not going to be able to block that typically, and if they do, they'll lose a guy. I'll gain life. And once I get over 20 life, or at 20 life or more, all my guys get Anthem, they get +1/+1, and then it's just it's almost over. It's almost no coming back. The moment that hits and I get over 20 life, it's over. And if they haven't done anything, a lot of the slow decks, it's game over.
Another card that combos great with your Anthems, Double Launch the Fleet.
Yes.
This is what caught my eye in this deck. How'd you come to the conclusion to get that guy in there?
So when I was playing against all the, not so much against the boss slide deck, but a lot of the maybe slower decks, especially black, if they don't have a way to clear my board, I can swing in and then I'll have a ton of mana because it'll go late, and I can just, all my guys, boom. That's extra 4 or 5 damage even, which is phenomenal. Especially even if I only have Mutavaults, I can just target them, that's 2 extra damage.
Yeah.
And that's enough. And if you have some of these out, I mean, those guys are coming in as 2/2s.
Anytime that makes them 2/2s,
it's a blowout every time.
What have been any of your key cards from the sideboard this weekend?
Well, I haven't played any control decks, surprisingly, so Rootborn Defense didn't help me any, but I would say Reprisal's been pretty good. It takes out the monsters decks. Yep. Pelucranos is always a big deal because they can just pay 4 mana, kill 3 of my, 2 of my guys or whatever, which is terrible. So if I can hit that, it takes out Desecration Demon, which is awesome. I mean, the only thing it doesn't take out is Stormbreath Dragon, but I mean, you can't win them all.
Nothing deals with that card.
I know. This deck just doesn't fold to it, but it's a lot harder. Banisher Priest is my favorite. He comes in 80% of the time, probably. he's too heavy for my curve. I mean, it's all
Right.
1 and 2 drops, so I don't want too many 3 drops. I mean, I already have 5, and then Launch the Fleet's already
Right.
a 3 drop typically, anyways. So I
A lot
don't
of
want too
mana
many.
there.
Yeah, and if I go against a control deck, it's a blank card, and he's phenomenal against any like of the what do you call it decks? The Boros Reckoner decks,
Yeah.
basically. I mean, they can't deal with it.
Okay. Well, it's a pretty sweet deck. It was a good metagame choice. Unfortunately, you picked up the second loss.
Yeah.
But, you know, I like seeing this deck strive when all the aggressive decks start battling. So,
Yeah. And then,
Bobby, thank you for sitting down with me on the sideboard. The next round's going to be coming up, so I want you to be able to battle, win
right.
some money and some open points, all right?
Yeah,
Thanks
man.
for sitting down with me on the sideboard. Stay tuned to StarCityGames.com all day and all weekend for action here at Las Vegas.